brother gave me a call and the sound cut out, so we're gonna have a go at it again. I do like to try and aim and do at least 90 minutes. If I don't do 90 minutes, I feel a bit disappointed. I've been pretty consistent so far. Let's see how we go. Hopefully we'll get a lot of questions in. So today's topic, and I will sort of deviate and go on to other topics, but mostly it centers around feeling like things are never going to change. And we've all felt like that. And I know that a lot of you might be feeling like that right now. And I'm going through some of that myself. My clients have. But the good news is things can change, because I've changed my life many times when I felt like it wasn't possible and things were really difficult and things were taking a long time. And everybody feels like this at some point in their life, in all areas, especially with anxiety, when you're trying to overcome it and you're doing therapy or you're getting mentorship or you're working on building your confidence. There are periods where it gets you down. That's the reality. It happens to all of us, and I've tried to explain on the recent live streams and maybe in this past year. It's something that I work on as well. That you get a lot of those t-shirts and tweets and stuff. You see them around online where they say, I think it's from therapy, it's okay to not be okay. And there's a lot of wisdom in that, and it's trying to accept that and move forward. So there's nothing to be ashamed of, even though that is part of feeling like this. You are going to feel ashamed at times. You are going to feel bad about yourself. So although it's easy to say don't feel these things and think positive, but the reality is positive thinking's good, but sometimes positive thinking doesn't always work in every situation. Sometimes you've got to be honest, you've got to be realistic and say, I don't believe in myself and I don't feel good, and I do believe that things are never going to change. And then you can go from there and build from there. So it might sound a little bit contradictory, it may sound negative, but believe me, from experience, I know what I'm talking about, because I've been fortunate enough to live this and get results, help other people, and also be helped by other people and see other people do it. So sometimes you have to admit that you are feeling terrible in order for things to change. And then you've got to look at ways in which you can change things by getting support, getting mentors, exercising, doing different therapies, or, trying to encourage yourself and stay motivated. So there is a lot of value. And I've had it with, recently in client sessions where clients have felt extremely burdened by the pressure of trying to be perfect and feeling that they're not good enough at times, and they're not achieving their goals, and they think, oh, it's never going to happen. But when you sometimes get things out and say, well, this is how I'm feeling, you don't want this to be true, you don't want to stay there, but it can play a part in helping you to overcome these anxieties, these insecurities, these fears, and these negative beliefs. So of course, there is a balance. If you just keep putting yourself down and saying that things are never going to change, and you're not trying to change, then in the long run, that can be not so good. There's still hope though, so it is good to look at ways in which you can change things. And that, let's simplify, is that you can do that by getting help and support, getting therapy, getting mentors, getting support from family and friends, applying a lot of the principles that I teach to my clients and on this platform, which is having a daily routine, which is really, it's so simple. It's a combination of simple daily habits, i.e. gym, exercising, socializing, trying to eat a healthier diet, and also working on personal goals and activities. Example, if you've got a dream to be successful in business, or you've got a dream to get married, setting that as a goal and working towards making progress so you can achieve that goal. So these are all ways in which you recover. But the reality is, at some point we all go through times where we think, I'm never going to get there, it's not working. And I can just give some sort of simple examples of that. I've said before, when I've gone for a run, I felt like no, I'm not going to be able to do an hour today. It's not possible. It literally feels unachievable, feels out of the realms of possibilities. And I may not do it on a certain day. I may give up a bit earlier, but the next week I succeed, I do it. Or it may take, it took me 2 years to get to where I am now with the running. But 2 years ago, if someone would have said to me, "You can run for 2 hours," I'd have said, "No, I'm not fit enough to do that. I'm good enough to do other things. I can't do that. Other people can do that, but I can't do that." But I didn't realize that that wasn't true. I can't read into the future, but if someone would have showed me and said, "Well, right now you can't do it, but you'll be able to do it in 2 years' time," I'd have been like, "Wow, that's pretty impressive." So it's time, isn't it? It's patience, time, and effort, the right effort to achieve things. Now, obviously, I do understand, let's look at different perspectives, and there's no judging here. Sometimes you hear it, you say, "Oh, that person has been complaining for the last 20 years and they've never changed." And they're saying that they're going to do it. They're saying that they're going to, they're going to give up, alcohol, for example, but they haven't done it, or they're going to give up junk food, or they're going to give up a certain negative lifestyle, or they're going to start a business. But they've been saying it for 25 years and they haven't started the business. Again, we're not judging because life's challenging. But the reason why nothing's changed because they've not made an attempt to try and change, or they haven't got the help that they need. So it's not that they're not good enough, they can do it. So if someone really wanted to, they could start a business, they could lose weight, could break an addiction. We're not saying it's easy. It's not easy. It's not easy when you're stuck in a perspective of anxiety and fear, or unbelief, when you don't believe you can do it. And I've experienced that. So it's not easy for a person, and it's easy for someone who is successful, who is because they're not in that pain anymore. So we're looking at different perspectives to get an understanding, so the perspective can help you to succeed. So even things like, I've seen it over the years of clients where they've said, I might have said to them, "Have you thought about trying some public speaking?" They said, "Oh, no, I can't do that." And I say, "Look, I understand public speaking is a really, really terrifying thing to do for me, as all of us. But you can do it though, because I've done it, and my other clients have done it, and millions of people around the world have done it. And truth be known, most of the people that have done public speaking and have really excelled at it, they were really shy people to begin with. They weren't confident people. They got bullied at school, like I did, like all of you did. They didn't believe in themselves. They didn't think they could do it. But of course, they put in time. They did a course, or they went Toastmasters, or a lot of clients that have worked with me, even if we weren't directly working on how to do public speaking, because of the mentorship and the relationship and the time with working with me, they gained a lot of confidence from facing their fears in many areas of their life, and that gave them the confidence to go and pursue public speaking. So confidence comes from putting in effort, having support, having a routine, and sticking with it. So the reason why we say, "How comes it isn't working?" or "I'm putting in a lot of effort but things are not changing," and it's because we are being impatient, which is part of being human at times. So it's learning how to break things down each and every day. Every single day, for most people, it would be valuable to practice being more patient, and the way that you can do that is there's a couple of ways, and I'm just explaining from my understanding. Number one is finding gratitude, and that can be as simple as spending time with a friend or family and enjoying your time with them, enjoying time on your own. It doesn't have to be specific. I'm just giving examples of going to the gym, or helping other people. Simple things. When you're grateful, you're patient. So it's having a discipline to work at these things, and a lot of this, if not all, is discipline. Another thing as well is being willing to try new therapies, try new things. If you've been wanting to change your life for a long time, and get over your anxiety or build confidence or overcome loss, all these things are all connected. Because I've always said, if you want to overcome your fears and your anxieties because you want to achieve a specific goal in your life, then you've got to change your life. That's not a negative. It's just me kind of explaining how it works. So I'll give an example again. I like to give examples. I can use myself because it's a bit easier as I'm, living in my own experience, and I might touch on other people as well, clients or friends, anyone comes to mind. So again, when I wanted to lose weight back in 2017, sort of 2018, I was 50 pounds heavier than I am now. I wasn't the way I am now, slim, in shape. I wasn't like this. I was depressed, overweight. So because I wanted to get back in shape again, more for my mental health, and I wanted to get back in shape to help more people, to inspire them, to have a good story to tell that could help a lot of people. But I knew it wasn't going to be a quick fix because I'd done it before when I was younger, and I knew it was probably going to take long. So I just sort of shut my mind off from thinking too much in the future, because I knew that would make me feel stressed and anxious and not enjoy it. So I really tried to focus on one day at a time, and I tried to focus on really enjoying my workouts, which is something that comes quite easy to me. And when I started to do that, it made me enjoy the workouts, and it made me take my mind off of, well, things are not going to change for me, or it's not going to happen, or I'm not good enough, or it's not realistic. So it's getting out of that conversation that really can grip you in and bring you down and make you believe that things are never going to change, and then it can really start to torment you. So breaking things up, into shorter time frames, like a day or a couple of hours a day, that starts to give you more strength and self-esteem, and then you can sort of deal with things taking time. And I think most of the problems that people have, anxiety related, are due to the relationship with time and wanting things to come instantly, quick fix, and comparing to other people. So that's something to really understand, and then not just understand these things as well intellectually, but to actually apply them in your life. So you also learn that when you exercise. It's really crazy. It's quite interesting that things like running and exercise, they really do, how can I say the word? I guess they do, for me anyway, and a lot of people, they really do replicate life, in the sense that when you're going on a run, if you start constantly thinking, when's this going to end? Am I enjoying it? I'm not enjoying it. If you start getting into that, you start suffering and you don't enjoy the run, or you don't accept that it's challenging. You start to try to negotiate with your mind and say, oh, I wish the run would be a couple of hours in now. I'm looking at my clock and it's only been 5 minutes and I'm out of breath. You start getting into that conversation. It never really it's never really a great conversation. Of course, there's always something to learn from that. But generally, that's what creates moodiness and unhappiness. That's when people say, I just don't enjoy it. Whereas if you start to become aware of that conversation and you go, okay, you're not going to judge yourself. You can't always stop that coming, but you can choose how you respond and say, you know what? You slowly start to get your mind out of that place, or get your body, you get out of your head. And so a lot of this, well, it's all psychological. I'm trying to explain some of these things, so bear with me. Please get your questions in as well. I love answering the questions. That's probably more important to me than just the mentoring, conversation, the teaching. So lately, I'm going to do more videos on this separately, because I can teach a lot of valid points that can help people to change their life from the running that I do, which hopefully will make sense to a lot of you, because a lot of this is experiential, if not all of it, and then I'm breaking it down, I guess, kind of intellectually, but hoping you'll sort of understand it, not just from your mind's point of view. So when you go for a run, if you constantly keep checking the time, it just feels like an eternity, and then it can feel like hell and back. But if you warm up and get into the run and enjoy it, you don't care about the time because you're enjoying it, you're present. And that's when you can get some of the best results and have the best progress. And that's the difference, I guess, between states of mind, states of consciousness, where you could have two people running in the same park. Two people in the same park, but they both got different perspectives from their experience. One is hating the run because they're in that perspective of impatience and saying, oh, when's it going to end? Or how long is it going to be until I become fit? How long will it be until I get, the approval from other people that I desperately want, or the adulation, or a certain level of fitness or form? All those questions that, it's natural for all of us. In that space, it's really difficult. Whereas the other person who's come out of that space, who's got into the run, is enjoying it, and actually doesn't want the run to end, can't wait, is just present. They're not thinking in that way. They've come out of that thinking, or they're just in their body, and they're warmed up and they're sweating and they're enjoying it, and they're so grateful to be running whilst being in a good headspace, if that makes sense. I'm sure it does. And also that you might even have excitement. I've had it where you're basically excited that the running's going well, and you can't wait to share the joy with other people, if that makes sense. You know that you can inspire other people, or you can connect with other people that also love running. You've got that shared common of interest, and that also brings a lot of joy and gratitude. And then you can reflect on, like I said, life lessons. You learn life lessons when you run consistently. Same way when you do any exercise. Swimming was another one that I find really good for confidence, mental health, all the things we're talking about today, anxiety-related problems. And for anyone, again, you don't have to have anxiety to get the benefits from what I'm teaching and explaining. So when you swim, again, everyone's going to get their own perspective. One of the things that comes to mind is the importance of learning to relax more in yourself, in situations in life, everywhere in life, right? We're with ourselves 24 hours a day. So swimming teaches you that, because at the start, a lot of people, me included, they aggressively start swimming and kind of going against relaxation because of anxiety, panic, pressure, the mental conversation of having to swim a certain way to keep up, and and fears of what people think, etc. So as you start swimming more, you also have to learn about patience, because I remember going for a swim years ago and I was so bored. I felt bored and I felt lonely, even though I was in a nice swimming place in Victoria, and there were other people swimming, but I felt bored, I felt lonely. I felt like I wanted to eat some junk food, some sugar for excitement. I felt like my life had to be the way it was in certain moments, like something exciting, entertaining, with adrenaline, and I wasn't enjoying it. And I was questioning myself, going, why am I not enjoying something that I should be grateful for? And it was because I was in that headspace of impatience, of overthinking, of worrying, of not being present, not allowing myself to just enjoy it and not rush and feel like, oh, what's the time now? I've got to get back home. When I get back home, what am I going to do? In that constant frantic place of never really enjoying now, always wanting to get to the next moment and the next moment and the next moment. So it took me some time, and there were some days where it just happened naturally, where I didn't really think about it, I didn't force it, I just started swimming and I enjoyed it. So, such as life, there are days where we just enjoy it. And sometimes we go, I don't know, I just had a good day, I wasn't thinking too much. And then other days we don't enjoy it because we start trying to think our way through life. Oh, How did I do it last week when things went well? How, and then we can get stuck. So I learned a lot of these things, as I've said, and a lot of these have influenced me in my teaching to help other people. And exercise is something, as I said, and other areas of life as well, doing these live streams. It happens on these live streams sometimes. I'm not really feeling like it. Is it going to go well today? Because yesterday's one went very well, or the one before went very well. It got a lot of views. I helped a lot of people. We had a great chemistry on the live stream. But sometimes it don't go like that. You know, that's accepting it. Sometimes the live stream, not many people show up. I might not feel at my best, but I will learn the value of not giving up and doing the best I can to help people, and this will help a lot of other people as well. Even if it just helps one person, that's better than nothing. So a lot of this is about discipline, about getting out of your head into your body, and not focusing on the future or the past, living now, enjoying now, and just seeing where it goes. But yeah, it's weird. It can be easy or difficult. It depends on you. It depends on how you feel. It depends on your level of awareness, on what you're practicing, and that's why these things take time. You know, they don't happen overnight, but the progress that you make is happening, you know, each and every hour and one day at a time. Because as I said, I used to watch people online, guys and girls. I'd be amazed at their story. You know, I was always fascinated with great stories. I guess it kind of resonates with me growing up struggling. So I was always fascinated with anybody that overcame struggles. So for example, watching things like people that have been addicted to drugs, and then hearing how they got clean and they turned their life around and they got married, or, you know, they found God, or they help people, other people to recover, or they come from being homeless. I love these stories. I like to see people do well. In general, especially, you know, when they're struggling, and it's usually, you know, not their fault. They've been through difficult things, as life is difficult for all of us at times, as we know. So I'd see these stories and just think that's amazing. Or when I heard Les Brown's story of what he went through, and you know, he was adopted at birth by his mum. That must have been really difficult. He grew up poor. He was judged. He was stereotyped. The kids laughed at him at school. They made fun of him. He had all those struggles, all those abandonment issues, all those financial problems, self-worth. But yet he succeeded. He come back, and, you know, and helped a lot of people, including me. So when you hear these stories, often you think, that's great. Depending on how you're thinking, a lot of people will think, well, that doesn't apply to me though. My problems are too big. I can't do it. But you can. It takes time. It takes effort. And, you know, one step at a time. People that change at you know, a slow rate, but it adds up. If you're consistent, you will make the changes that you want to make and you deserve to make. So yeah, you know, the principle of understanding, I guess the principle of understanding change, that's kind of what I'm trying to explain. And the way that my brain works sometimes, and how I communicate things, I like to explain things in different ways to stress different points and kind of touch on all the emotions and thoughts. So like I said, overcoming anxiety for the most part is the same principle really for overcoming, you know, an eating disorder, or a weight problem, or getting into shape. It's the same process. You set a goal. The goal is always about change, isn't it? If you want to achieve your goal of building a successful business, you have to change something in your life. You have to change something in yourself. Now, I know when sometimes people hear that, and it happens to me sometimes, they're like, oh, but that's really scary. How can I change all of myself? Well, you don't change every part of yourself, not to that extreme, but there's some things that have got to change. You've got to change the way that you think. You've got to change some of the way that you act and behave. Because if you don't change or challenge the way that you're thinking, then you're not going to change the way that you're acting. So a simple example, someone wants to start a business. Obviously, they're very scared to do it. Obviously, they don't believe they're good enough at that point. That's normal. And obviously, they're afraid of failing and potentially succeeding, and uncertainty and responsibility. These are all normal human fears. So from that point of view, if they say, but my goal, my dream is to have my own business, and let's just say specifically what comes to mind if someone says that they want to build a real estate business, a business in property, or they want to build a business, they want to be a coach or a therapist, they want a therapy online coaching business like mine, or real estate or marketing, whatever the one, they want their own business. So they say that they want to do that, but there's all the fears and the anxieties, and they don't believe that they can do it. And if they don't do anything, if they don't even say, for example, well, let me go online and do some research and watch someone who's in real estate, who's successful, or who's in coaching, if they don't take that step, then nothing's going to change. It's just going to be, an idea that's not acted on. And so nothing will change because the thinking's not changing enough, and the habits and the behavior. Whereas if they said, right, we're gonna take some action, and I'm gonna book a mentoring session with myself or someone who has experience in business and who can teach you how to overcome your fears of starting a business, of selling, marketing, and putting a good product out on the market. And all the other things that come with that. But that's mainly the basics of business. Finding a market, providing value to the market or a product or a service, giving a lot of value and charging for it. And also usually doing some things for free as well. That's kind of how most businesses run in all different industries. So if someone doesn't make an attempt to put a product out there and give value, then it won't change. So it's the behavior, it's taking the action. And as you're taking the action, you're going to start to change the way that you think. I've seen it. I've been mentoring a client recently who's brilliant to work with, and I've been working with him now it's going to be coming up to over about a year and a half now. And he wanted to build a coaching business. Well, when we first worked together, he wanted to get over social anxiety, which he did. And that was a great goal accomplished. That he was able to do working together with me on the program. Then he asked me, do you know how to start a business? I said, yeah, I've got experience. I've actually developed a new program. If you're interested, yeah, I want to sign up for it. And we worked together. Now he's built a successful business. But at the start, of course he doubted whether he could get clients, whether he could earn a living running his own business, because he was at university, graduated at university, and was going to get a 9-to-5 job. So, of course, I said, you can do it. It's not going to be easy. You're going to have to put a lot of work in, but I've got the strategy and I can help you and support you. And he stuck it out, went through the challenges, and now he's built the business. It's still growing. He has got over 20 paid clients, maybe more, and done loads of events and helping people. But he took the action and change the way that you think through our conversations, the mentoring, the support. So as you take more action, your mindset changes as well. Both of them change, they work together. So the way that you think changes when you change the way that you behave again. So avoidance is what keeps people stuck. I want to lose weight. I've had it with clients as well, and they're doing well. They say, I want to start going to the gym. Jonathan, I've seen that you do it. I know that you say on all your videos, for anybody that wants to improve their life, especially if they've got anxiety problems, go to the gym. It will reduce anxiety, it will increase confidence, it will improve every aspect of your life, because the confidence that you gain from going to the gym, it will spread into every area of your life. If you're not a very confident person in the world of dating, relationships, people, family, friends, if you're a shy person, for example, like how I've been for quite a few years in my life until I changed, and clients, if you're a shy person, if you go to the gym for 6 months, I'm telling you, even if you are super shy, you'll be less shy. you'll have a bit more confidence around people, because your self-esteem would go up from all the exercising. Your mental health would improve, your physical health would improve. You'd notice it. You'd feel less anxious around people. So now I've lost my train of thought. Perfect, at the right time. Good to see all of you. So it's good to understand these simple things that build confidence and reduce anxiety and change the way that you think. Sorry, yeah, so I've come back to my train of thought. I want to simplify this to make people understand the behaviors that are keeping you stuck and the behaviors that are going to help you to break out of these patterns. I did do a YouTube video a few weeks ago, which you can watch out. I think it's how to break the negative cycle of anxiety. It explains this. It kind of focuses on that area. You can check it out. So again, people say that they want to lose weight, but they don't go to the gym because they keep saying, well, I'm not ready to go yet. The thinking's wrong. The behavior's wrong. Because the thinking that's correct for people is, I want to go to the gym because I want to get healthy and fit and I want to lose some weight and get my confidence up. That's good thinking. The negative thinking, the destructive thinking is, but I'm not going to go yet because of what excuse? Because I'm not ready right now, or because I've got other things in my life, or I've got this and that going on. That is the negative thinking that needs to change, because you cannot change without putting effort in. And if you wait to feel perfect, then you're never going to change, because it generally doesn't. I mean, in some cases it can, of course, but generally it don't really work like that. We don't just sit around and then all of a sudden we don't have any confidence, we're not feeling good, we're feeling down, and then we say, well, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait until I feel confident. I'm gonna wait until I feel positive. I'm going to wait until all my problems go. I'm going to wait until I'm not stressed. And as soon as that happens, then I'm going to go to the gym and lose weight. If only it was that easy. I wish it was. It isn't like that generally. I'm not saying that it's impossible, because things can happen. I've had couple of profound experiences in my life, and I know that can happen for people, so I'm not going to be ignorant and rule that out. But it's quite unlikely. It's quite unreliable. Whereas if you say, I'm going to go gym anyway, face my fears, and you're going to learn through the process. So you can't learn, you can't grow as a person, you can't change without putting effort in, just by sitting around and just by dwelling and thinking. Let's get your question. So White Rabbit says, how does this apply to changing one's mentality? Sometimes personality can remain inherent in one's nature. That's true, and that's breaking that belief. Again, it comes back to the same answer, but I see your point. It's a very good question. People will often make excuses. We've all done it, so we're not judging. I've done it, and they'll say, well, I've done a study, I've done a survey online. I had a friend say that. I've looked at a survey online by a certain psychologist and it says I'm this sort of personality, so therefore that means I can't go and run. It's rubbish. It's not true. You're believing a belief that someone said about you. It may be true in that, let's say for example, okay, let me give an example. So there's some truth in it. So they'll say people that are more sensitive and have got more empathy are more likely to have anxiety disorders. I think there's truth in that, definitely. But that doesn't mean that someone who has got a personality trait which is inheritedly from their genes, that doesn't mean they can't get mentally stronger if they want to. As a matter of fact, they can get even more mentally stronger because originally they're at a disposition. They might not be naturally as strong as other people, but if you work hard, you can get even further. So it's really about challenging your thoughts and behaviors. Because if you don't challenge it, and if you say, well, I have an excuse, my personality is inherently one which comes with someone who is mentally not very resilient, you're going to tell yourself that you're that, and you are going to act and behave according to that belief, and you're going to create that. And I know that from my own life experience, what I used to tell myself, what I can still do. The things that I told myself years ago, with regards to the way I am, how I think, my personality, they held me back for a long time until I changed them and got proof they weren't true. So a lot of people, I hear it all the time, being in my business coaching, they'll say, I can't do, you know, I can't do live streams. I'm not that sort of person. I'm too shy. I worry about what people think. It's like, that's not true. You've never tried. You know, you have no proof that you can't do it. You've based on negative feelings and emotions and thoughts, and obviously things that people have told you growing up. So change is about having the courage to challenge the way that what you believe about yourself and what you're capable of doing. And as I said before, exercise can be a great vehicle to help a person to change the way that they think and feel and believe about themselves in any area of life, in absolutely any area. We're talking about anything: career, finances, relationships, mental health, you know, your creativity, many things like that. And again, I think a lot of people get stuck in the trap of time. Some said that your identity changed by action, not only from your thoughts. 100%. You're right. I've said that for many years because I experienced that. So taking action is where you're going to get most of the confidence. For the most part, you can't think your way into losing weight. You cannot think your way into making money. You can't think your way into getting good at running. You've got to do these things. Now, of course, there is some value in believing that you can do these things. That is a different kind of area. But you can't just sit around and just think change. You have to create change by taking action. So I've got some plants over here, guys and girls, in my flat. Beautiful plants. And I can't just sit here and go, well, I'm going to think about them, you know, them growing and not dying and watering them. If I don't get up and put some water and water the plants are going to die. I've got to take the action. And you guys are tempting me to get up and water them. Because if I don't water them, they're going to die. In the same way with changing yourself, you can't just think your way into change. You've got to behave. You've got to take the action. You've got to build the habit. And a lot of the things we're going deep here, but in the universe that we live in, you know, in terms of human effort, they are created through movement, through action, through energy. So you've got to put your energy into things, or they're not going to change. If I don't speak on the live stream and I don't say anything and I just put the live stream on, I mean, it might be good comedy, and I just sat here and didn't say anything, and I expected all of you to change or to get value from this mentoring talk, it's unlikely things are going to change. So I've got to communicate and speak and explain things to you, give you different mindsets, different therapies, different exercises, different tools that you can go and apply in your life and get results from them. And it's always like that, you know. They've done studies that I've heard, and I know they're true because through experience, but it's good to connect on. And they've done studies throughout the years of people that have been mentally unwell, some to a severe degree. I've heard things like schizophrenia, psychosis, anxiety, depression, all these sorts of things, OCD. And they've kind of got them exercising consistently, daily, and they've taken them out, got them out and about, walking, and they've noticed that their mental health has significantly improved, as opposed to another group of people that don't exercise and just, you know, sit around or just stay on medication and just stay with their illness, their mental illness. So it proves it. Taking action improves your mental health and it increases your confidence, your discipline, all those things. So yes, the basis of what I'm saying is to take consistent action. And of course there is value as well. Of course there is time where you have to have a rest. It's not just about taking action, but a lot of it is. So of course there's a time to sleep and rest and read and switch off and do some reading and learn, educate yourself. There's value in that. But a lot of people spend too much time reading, too much time watching YouTube videos or courses, and not enough time taking action in their life to change and to grow. And the body and the mind, it gets stronger. It does change when you take action. It's scientific, biological, spiritual. These things change, and you know that when. That's why I say, don't stay in your house all the time. Don't isolate, because if you isolate for long periods of time, you get mentally unwell. You get depressed. You get down, and then it's harder to change your life because you get stuck. So to unstuck yourself and change your life, you need movement. You need movement consistently. Same with a boxer. Any boxer, Mike Tyson, Larry Holmes, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, Joshua, Muhammad Ali, Rocky Marciano, Jack Dempsey. If these guys didn't take action and didn't train regularly, they wouldn't be able to perform to the best of their ability, even though they're boxers. So it doesn't matter how good you are at something, you still got to keep yourself in shape. And that's what all this stuff is about today that I'm talking about as well. Keeping yourself in shape and working on making, continuous progress. So yeah, as I said, it always does feel like a lot of information when you talk about it. When I talk about it, even for me. But when you start applying it, it's not lots of information. So to give an example, you've got anxiety today, you're not feeling great, you want to change your life, you want to achieve your goals, whatever they are, whether it's a relationship with your ideal person, whether it's a business, it's financial, whether it's weight loss or diet, or you want to be a better person, or you want to be more social, or you've got specific goals, you want to pass your exams, or you want to break an addiction, replace it with a positive one, or you want to end toxic relationships, or you want to move house, or you want to help other people more, whatever the case may be, whatever your goal is, it's about taking the action now, today, simplifying it. And usually the action step is very simple, but when you get into your head and you overthink, it feels really difficult. So for example, someone wants to lose weight and want to start from today and get fit sometimes. So in terms of diet, start off by eating some veg or fruit or water, having some water. That action that you need to start and slowly start. You stick with that, you continue making progress, you're going to achieve your goal if you don't quit. Business would be to start the business, start the website, start your YouTube channel with other people, start helping people, start solving problems on the market. Apply for jobs if you're unemployed. Get the ball rolling. Go on Google, go online and write in, the vacancy that you're looking for, the job title. So you've got to get the ball rolling, you've got to take the action, and you've got to get into a habit of doing it. And the more action you take, the more confident you become, the easier it gets. And at times it's going to get really difficult. It's going to be up and down. So even when you take a lot of action, you're going to gain a lot of confidence, which is great. You're going to have better days, but there's going to be a period again where it's going to get difficult again. You're going to feel down, you're going to have anxiety, you're going to doubt yourself. It's a process. It's not just It's not going to be the same all the time, even when you're successful in life, whatever that means to people, because different interpretations. But generally, you're successful at being more, grateful of your life and achieving the goals. So these are life skills for life. These are skills that you can use whenever you need to use these tools. The tools of being able to move forward regardless of how you feel, and the skills of being disciplined consistently. Any questions, go for it, guys and girls, I'll answer them. So, back to the daily routine. You need definitely, everyone does. If you want to change your life, you need daily routine. Without a daily routine, changing your life is not going to be probable. It won't be realistic, because you're just going to go into an avoidance behavior. You're going to put things off. So having a daily routine basically gets you to take action on the things that you need to take action on, and so you can make progress. And within your daily routine, you can enjoy your life. You can watch the England game tonight. You can still prioritize time with your friends and family. So the daily routine is a great tool that enables you to get the most out of life and the most out of each and every day, without overthinking too much and getting stuck in that pattern of worrying too much, about what others think, or dwelling on the things that are getting you down. So this is all in the right direction of change, all the same thing. Another good tip I want to give people as well, you only got to do, even if you do an hour every day, an hour or a couple of hours, and basically putting in effort, I would say from an hour minimum. 2 hours would be better, 3 hours, but an hour is better than nothing. Even half an hour is better than nothing. Put in 30 minutes to start their build up of effort within regards to with your goals. So if your goal is to get in shape and lose weight, then do 30 minutes of exercise each day. If your goal is to build a business, to start a business, put an hour in each day of the effort you need to put in, whether that's making content, that's looking for true. I'm currently going through depression. I can't identify what has led me to feeling depressed. Well, yeah, that's a big one. Well, I'll give you an exercise, and you probably won't do it right now, right? No pressure. That's fine if you don't. Hopefully that you will. I'd say work out, go to the gym when you're feeling like that, because that is part of depression sometimes, to make you feel confused about why you're feeling like that. And it's because you're human as well. We all can get down. It doesn't always have to be an exact reason, Drew, for why you're feeling depressed. I know sometimes you want to know because you're like, I don't know why I'm feeling like this. And sometimes it's helpful to know, but it's not always wise to know. Because if you can't accept that you don't know, you're going to make yourself feel worse. So instead of wasting all your time and energy on trying to identify what's getting you down, put some of that energy into doing things that are going to make you feel good. It's always about exercising, socializing, and that's really it. Anything else outside of that is a bonus, and you can add your own things on, doing activities. And that's a really good exercise that I do in my personal life, and I help my clients with this, and they're making a lot of progress, and so am I. When you feel overwhelmed, because sometimes 24 hours is a lot of time when you're depressed or down or trying to change your life, focus on a couple of hours, and then you can go back to what you're doing. You can go back to being down, you can go back to ruminating or worrying or trying to figure out reasons why you're feeling like you're feeling, or you know, feeling a bit. I understand that. But for 2 hours, put some time in. And what will happen is you're going to get ahead. You know, it's better. It's better to, you know, if you're going to be depressed, you might as well get something out of it. If you're down and depressed at the moment and life's terrible for you, you feel like that, then you might as well lose weight and get fit. You might as well go for it. What else have you got to lose? You've got nothing to lose. You know what you're going to get. You're depressed anyway, and things are not going well. So if things are not going well in every area, you might as well get something out of life. I also include by that, because I know that can sound selfish, some people can feel guilty. Help other people. Open up your heart more to others, and that will give people appreciate that, and you will. Oh, that's even better then, yeah. Yeah, music can do that, you're right. So that's good that you've changed that. So try and work on, you know, a couple of hours each day of positive behavioral an outlet. And most people will give that advice, right? Because sometimes we exaggerate in our mind. We say, well, I've got to change my life. Therefore, for 24 hours a day, I've got to be like making myself work. And it's like, no, you don't. That's extreme. So with the running journey that I've been on, I wanted to get good at running so I could share my story more and get myself and enjoy it for all the reasons. Lose weight, enjoy running, inspire others, you know, build my business, help more people share my story. But the running, I only do running for an hour at a time. I went for a 2-hour run the other day because I was pushing myself, but generally it's only a couple of hours of my day running. It's not 24 hours a day. It's not 10 hours a day. It's not even 5. It's a couple of hours a day. And when I first started running, I just did 30 minutes, and I've made so much progress. So you don't have to put in full-time effort to get results. You just got to put a couple of hours in each day consistently. Yeah, you're right. You know, yeah, generally you're not going to change everything in one go, and that's too much pressure and it's unrealistic. So it is frustrating. So like we said, it's breaking it down. Same with the live streams. You know, I'm not going to do a 20-hour live stream unless it was for like a good cause or a challenge generally. But that's the extreme. I haven't got time to do that. It's not necessary. So I do an hour each time, sometimes 2 hours, an hour and a half. It adds up. You know, all these live streams that I've been doing out there helping people, and they're helping me to enjoy my life and help other people make progress and connect with more people and, you know, have a great time if we can. So it's a couple of hours each day of putting in effort. Like I said about the plants, you know, it's not necessary for me to water the plants for 10 hours a day. Probably would drown them out. So it takes 30 seconds, a minute to go to the kitchen, put some water in a cup and water the plants each day, and that keeps them growing. So if you want to keep growing, metaphorically, you've got to water your plants every day for a couple of hours, you know, working on your mindset and taking the action. You need a behavioral release outlet. Same with the gym. A lot of people, the mindset of a lot of people is they look at someone who's in shape, like myself or anybody online, and they look at them and say, wow, I can't do that. Or if I need to be like that, I need to be training 20 hours a day. It's exaggerated. It's exaggeration. Or they're always in the gym. They never have a hamburger. That's all they do. It's like that's never the case. Yeah, they might be dedicated, but they put a couple of hours in each day. Even if they did the maximum train for 3-4 hours a day, it's only 3-4 hours a day. You know, there's other hours where you're not training. So you don't have to face your fears for 24 hours a day. You don't have to practice discipline for every single minute. You just got to put an allocated amount of time in every day, consistently over the course of, you know, a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, years, and you're going to see drastic positive change in your life. But like I said, you gotta come out of one mindset to another. The general mindset is negative, anxiety. I can't do it. I'm down. I'm depressed. Everyone's better than me, or I'm not. It's normal. Everyone's got that. We've all got that program. We've all got that in our head. You know, it's going to take too long. Or it's not realistic. Or I don't have what it takes. Or you've got to get out of that. You've got to come out of that, even for 2 hours each day, or even for an hour. You've got to just come out of that perspective, have a break from that, and get in that doesn't have limitations, simple stuff. And you've got to go exercise. Exercising gives you positive perspective, gives you strength, gives you confidence, social confidence, life skills. Those skills you can apply in any area of life, in any area. Business also does a lot the same. Usually, if I mentor someone that's been in business for 10 years, it's easier sometimes areas of life because they've already been in the habit of doing a lot of positive behaviors. They've got that mental strength, they have experience, and they've been through failure, rejection, feeling not good enough and coming out of that feeling good enough, etc. But obviously for someone who doesn't have any experience, then they've got everything to gain. They can make so much progress. So it's not comparing yourself to other people, and that's a daily practice. And like I said, you get good results. The same principle for exercising, the same in business, the same with relationships. You put a certain amount of effort in, of discipline. You stop, you rest, you go away, you train for a couple of hours, you rest, you get on with your life, and the recovery is where you grow even stronger. So with therapy, let's say with mentorship, if you do mentoring with me, you do a 2 hour session or an hour session, or for some people to do a year program or shorter. So you do a 2 hour session with me. During that 2 hour session, you're going to talk, we're going to communicate. You're going to talk about things that are holding you back. You're going to talk about things that are important to you. All the different therapeutic conversations. I'm going to give you some advice when you ask me. I'm going to tell you what I think, what you need to do, what you need to stop doing. I'm also going to say when I don't have the answers, you have the answers, support. After that 2 hour session, it's possible it happens where you're going to feel really good because of the positivity and the release and the connection of doing the session with me. But after, you could also feel exhausted, tired, a bit stressed. So you're going to rest when you go away. We're not going to do the session for 10 hours unless it's a program like that generally. And you're going to come away and recover for a week and get on with your life. And during that recovery and that rest period, you're going to grow. And then you're going to do a session again. We're going to go back to it. We're going to continue. We're going to make some progress in a 2 hour session. We're going to mentoring session. We're going to talk, help you towards your goals, accountability. Then you're going to rest again. So it's putting in effort. It's working hard, resting, working hard, resting. And this is how you change your life in any area. And this is how you overcome anxiety and depression. But like I said, when you are sitting down and you are in a negative headspace and you're thinking about changing and why you're not changing, and it's not possible, and and things that you're not happy about in your life, you get stuck there. And there's no real positive growth in that place other than recognizing that it is a destructive pattern and everyone gets in it. So it's not judging yourself at all, but recognizing that you're in it and trying to come away from it as best as you can. And it's inevitable you're going to go back to it at some point. Everyone is, including me, but it's being aware of it and it's being in it less often. And you'll be in it less often when you apply the advice I've been saying today on the stream, when you take the action, work on changing your behaviors, being mindful of how you're thinking, taking the right action steps, and also enjoying your life, having community, friends, family, all all those things. Now, another thing that I want to touch on, I think I said this on a previous stream. At some point when you're working towards achieving your goals, you're going to feel like quitting. This could be a day-to-day thing, it could be a seasonal thing. And it's really important that when you feel like quitting because you're fatigued and you're in pain, understandably, or you're stressed or you're tired or you're out of ideas, to just get yourself to go a little bit further. So if you're doing a run, if you're running regularly and you notice that every time it gets to 45 minutes you get exhausted and you don't want to, and you stop at that point, that's fine, but not forever. At some point you want to say, right, we're 45 minutes in, I want to quit right now. My mind's fried, my body's exhausted, I want to stop. I haven't got anything left in me. There's nothing left in the tank. At that point, you want to say, right, let's go for 1 minute more. If you always stop and give up at 45 minutes in your run, then do 46 minutes. Because that extra minute may not sound like a lot, it's miles. That's great progress. Same as what I do on the live streams. It's happened today actually. Now I'm tired today and I'm out of breath from speaking. It's 62 minutes in, but I'll go a bit longer. And some days it goes easier. So I'll get some questions going. Oh my God, can you say happy birthday to my cousin Mike Oxmall? He's a huge fan of you. Yeah, of course I can, man. Happy birthday to Mike Oxmall. Hope you have a lovely birthday, man. Hope you have a great birthday. You appreciate it with your friends and family or however you spend it. All right, appreciate that. So go the extra mile. Now, I'm not saying to be unintelligent. I'm not saying to completely burn yourself out. That would be overdoing it. So it is good to go, right, I've pushed myself, let's stop now. That is good as well. There's, Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi, balance is key. But every now and then we've all got to push ourselves. And the reason why we've got to do that is because if we don't push ourselves, we're not going to change, we're not going to learn, we're not going to grow. We're just going to stay stuck. We're not going to go further and make progress. So I would say try this in any area of life. Let's say, for example, you always struggle to get up at 8 a.m. in the morning, or then try and get up at 8 a.m. and maybe at a certain point you're going to get up at 7:55 a.m. You're making progress on discipline. Or if you find that every time you go to the gym, when you're doing bench press or shoulders, you always give up after 8 reps, then do 9 reps. That if you always only lift a certain amount, let's say you always lift 60 kilograms for 8 reps, and then it gets hard and you stop. Try lifting 61 kilos and do 9 reps. You're getting further, and changing is about going further. When we get stuck in a pattern in life is because for some reason, whatever the reason is, we're not going further, we are stuck. So the same in business. If you find that your business is always you might make the same amount of money after taxes or income, or you keep making the same amount and it's not enough. Let's just say, for example, every month you made £1,000 and you couldn't understand why you just kept making the same amount. Then you've got to change things, sell more, give more value, put your prices up. And even if you made £1,050, the extra £50 is progress. No matter how small the progress is, it's all progress, it's all positive, you can build on it. If you find that you are, let's say for example, you want to eat, let me think what it could be. Okay, let's say for example, you always drink a small bottle of water every day, which is good. and you get stuck on that. You want to drink more. We'll drink a little bit more. Drink 1 bottle of water and drink a quarter of another bottle. So you're pushing yourself to go a little bit further than you usually do when you feel like quitting. That builds mental toughness. And like I said, with a lot of this, you can't go by feelings, because your feelings will tell you to stop. If you go by feelings in training, everybody, I'm not saying all the time, because training is something that I love and enjoy, and you can get to that point. But generally, as a rule of thumb, if for anybody of any age, if you went by your emotions in training, you'd be quitting all the time, because emotions are deceiving in this aspect, and so is your mind. So you can't be governed by your emotions. If I went by my emotions of eating, I'd eat everything. Man. So you can't go by your emotions a lot. You've got to be disciplined. You have to say no. And if you go by your emotions for happiness, you're going to be depressed all the time. Because if you say, well, I'm only going to go out and be friendly with people when I feel good, you couldn't rely on that. But you've got to work on saying, well, actually, I don't feel good. And it's not because I'm not a kind person. I'm human. We all get days where it's hard. We don't feel good. But still practicing being friendly, that's how you're going to get stronger. That's how you're going to get better results long term and change. And there is light at the end of the tunnel. All of these practices, if you stick to these long term, and I can't say when it's going to happen because it's different for everyone, but at some point, you will feel like doing things. You're not gonna feel bad forever. You're not gonna feel anxiety or depression forever. If you keep working on these things, you will get to more of a permanent good place. I've done it. I've helped clients to do it. Many people have done it. So eventually, all of these disciplines of taking action when you don't feel like it, they will eventually get you to a more of a permanent good place. Just like people say, when they make a drastic transformation with their weight loss, and people see it online, and which is lovely, and they're amazed by what the person's done, but it didn't happen overnight, and they didn't just become happy, confident, and slim, or in shape, or fit and healthy. It took time, but eventually they got there, and then you've got a story to share. The same with overcoming a breakup. Breakups are tough. We've all been through them. I'm sure all of you have. They're really difficult for everyone, especially when it's someone that you love. Even if you left the person and you loved them because it weren't right, whatever reason, or they left you, or you both decided to part ways, it's painful. It's really painful for a certain time. But if you want to recover from a breakup and overcome it, then you've got to put effort in. You've got to work towards, obviously, getting out of that depression. I already said happy birthday. I don't know if you heard me earlier. So it's going to take time, It's going to take time to rebuild yourself and come back from the breakup and to meet somebody else. These things are going to take time to get over the person, to recover from the heartbreak, to get your confidence back, and to meet someone else if that's one of your goals. All these things are the same thing again. It's the same sort of principle. It takes time, effort, and we know that when you're going through the pain of a breakup, you don't feel good for a long time. For most people, it takes 6 months to a year. It depends on the person, right? Depends on them, but we're just given a rule of thumb. For some people, it takes years. So there's going to be most days you're going to wake up, you're not going to feel like doing things because you're going to be sad and down and depressed and lonely, all the human emotions that we all feel, especially after a breakup, disappointment, sadness. To get to a point of overcoming it and feeling good towards a person and being, having gratitude and moving on, that takes time. So during that time, you're going to have to move forward when you're feeling awful, and you're going to have to get, momentarily hours each day of of gratitude, of feeling some sense of connection and release until that becomes more permanent. So it's the same principle again for changing your life, overcoming anxiety as a whole, or certain anxieties, coming back from a breakup and a financial loss. That's tough as well, really tough. But it can be done. You can do it. I've done it. Many people have. Some of you may have done it. I hope a lot of you have. But it's going to take work, and it's going to be a daily thing. I think that'll be it today. That was good enough. I've kind of ran out of things to say. I've said most of what I wanted to say, because this is kind of the main theme at the moment that comes to heart and mind. But yeah, back to the routine, simplifies things, and just try that from today, all of you. Just work on putting an hour or two of effort in, of what it is that you want to achieve, whether it's good mental health, it's your career, or it's a combination of all. I really like to think of these things as a wholesome thing, that when you want to change your life, it's all the basic things that come into play. So it's dieting, exercising, it's spending time with family and friends, it's trying to get up on time, it's going to work, or if you want to change jobs, it's when you finish work, you're going to put a certain amount of time at working on your new career or your business. It all kind of makes sense when you explain it. It's not really rocket science. It just can feel difficult when you're thinking about it, and when you've got someone to talk to, it simplifies it, which is why it's really good to have friends and mentors or a therapist, or to come into a community like this of like-minded people, so you can get that help and support that you need and deserve. If you've enjoyed this live stream, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. I do these regularly. And as always, if you want to get mentorship, you can book a mentoring session with me by sending me an email in the box below. I'll get back to you, and if I can help you and work with you, we can arrange a session. Right, so that's it for today. I'm going to continue. I've got the rest of the day to get by on. And yeah, thanks for coming on. Appreciate all the support, all of you. Keep going, and hopefully you'll take at least the main bit of advice from this video, and that's the ability to get yourself to move forward and face your fears and take the action. Commit to living your life when you're not feeling great about yourself, all right? Speak to one of you soon. Have an awesome weekend.